The last time WWE had performed in front of fans was all the way back at WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium. Tonight, for the first time in 70 weeks, the WWE is home where it belongs, in front of a crowd, as the new A show took it to the Bon Voyage trip, and now we see what the seas brings us as this era of the WWE has begun. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Cerebral Smack Talk as always with Michael Fledgett alongside Anthony Floyo. We are awaiting Michael Bullock, and we got a lot to go through tonight. Smackdown Live, we got a preview Money in the Bank as well. So we got not a lot of time, and we're going to try to get it all in. So, like we said, it started inside of the Toyota Center in Houston, and it started earlier this afternoon. A couple of dirt sheets came out, and then some actual footage came out. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon came out to greet the fans, to say hello, and more importantly, welcome back. Welcome home. You guys have been missed. And then we started it off with the chairman of the board, Mr. McMahon. Where the hell were you guys? It was a sweet little moment. Didn't waste too much time. McMahon was in and out, said what he had to say, and then we got into the real moment. The first guy out of the gate, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, and oh my God, dude, I had goosebumps up and down my arms when Roman came out because that crowd was electric. I've never, ever felt an energy like that since WrestleMania. And this was even crazier. It was a packed house, full sellout, 14,000 plus. And yeah, you heard the cheers. You heard a lot of boos. And that was insane. Coming out with the Usos seconds later. And then the Mysterios gets a monster pop as they come out. And then the Rated R superstar, the roof blows off the Toyota Center. Holy freaking crap. And we didn't even get into the match yet. The first 10 minutes. And it was like, it's like you just felt the energy, man. And it was resonating from my TV. Florio, you were probably feeling it. Mike Bullock was probably feeling it. Dee Woodson was saying, we had a thing on the messenger chat, and Dee Woodson's like, this is amazing what's going on. We were swooped up in the moment, and it felt like this is real. This is home. WWE is back in business, legitly. 6-man tag team fight, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio. Roman and the Usos wins the match in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Solid match, good battle. There was a commercial in the match that kind of hurt the match a little bit, but the closing sequence with everybody involved, it was chaotic. It was crazy. The Usos stole the win. Roll up from behind, roll them up, pulling the tights, getting the win. Anthony Floyd, I'll steal that for you for a moment. And yes, this was a solid opener. 3 stars for me for the match. Like I said, the one thing that kind of hurted it was there was a commercial break in between it that kind of lost the momentum just briefly, but it did come around, gave us a nice little home, brought it home, and it told 2 very good storylines. One, the Usos gets the leg up on Mysterios. They got a victory here. They're fighting on the pre-show of Money in the Bank on Sunday night. So you had that. Then you had the altercation between Edge and Roman. And Roman got put with that bar over his mouth in that cross-face submission lock. He's tapping out. The last image we saw was Edge holding the Universal title over his head. Probably not the outcome we're going to get, but we'll get into that because, like I said, we got the preview tonight. Anthony Faleo, come on in. Just give me a sense of all of the emotions you were going through, especially at the very beginning of the show. Because I know for me, I'll see a little line from that American Idol from Jennifer Lopez, man. I was feeling the goosies, man. I had it.
I think we all did. And, you know, MF, I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm gonna put it from our commentary perspective, because everybody knows you are the Gorilla Monsoon and the Jim Ross of our crew, as everybody knows, the two goats of the business. And the moment that Edge came out and you heard that monstrous pop, I had you channeling your old school gorilla and saying, "Listen to this place go crazy." And then I follow up by saying, "What? I can't hear you." And then we had a nice little funny moment there. And oh man. Oh wow. Never will we ever become spoiled by the live reaction of an audience to professional wrestling again. The roar from the crowd for Vince McMahon, then Roman Reigns, culminating in a monstrous pop for Edge, was invigorating and exactly what WWE needed after a stale and stagnant Thunderdome era. The crowd ate this all up, cheering Edge, booing Reigns, and adding exponentially to the in-ring action. Does the match earn an A rating? Not really, but the return of the audience, the energy of the performers, and the execution of the spots and segment closing angle elevated it to what would be an A letter grade. My star rating in a moment. Edge getting the best of Reigns on the show, seeing that this was the go-home show before Money in the Bank, would suggest that the head of the table will retain Sunday night, and that is the right call. He's too valuable in his role and has absolutely unequivocally been the best thing about the product over the last year. It's too soon to take the title off of him and give it to Edge, especially with the tease of Seth Rollins opposing Edge hanging overhead. Rumor I'm hearing is they want to have Edge and Rollins go one-on-one at SummerSlam, and that's a potential show stealer right there with those bodies of work. So I agree with you on the rating, 3 stars. That's exactly what I was going to give it as well. And MF, all I can say is I got the goosies as well, especially when I heard you say, "Listen to this place go crazy" when Edge came out, and then me following up with the "What? I can't hear you." Holla Bobby Heenan and all that. So I could have even gone a step further and saying, I'm not even going to try to talk over this. So that's how amazing it was. And what a sight, man. You thought WrestleMania was something. This was actually even better. So yeah, a fantastic way to start off this magical night. And MF, a special moment for you. I mean, your show, you get the first shot. We'll get our shot on Monday. We'll get our shot in Dallas. Don't you worry. And we're going to bring that same fire and intensity. You better believe that. But man, MF, I mean, I couldn't be happier for you, and I couldn't be happier for your guys and gals on Team Blue. I mean, I know we like to kid around and, talk about SmackDown versus Raw and all this good stuff, but this is tonight we're united, man. We're united. And it's not about SmackDown. It's not about Raw. It's about the fans, and it's about, the performers. And a lot of the sheets that I read today, saying that there was a very positive atmosphere, and rightfully so. And all I can say is I'm happy for you, brother. That was a great moment for you, and great moment for SmackDown, and great moment for the business altogether. So I don't know what else there is to say except let's move on.
Yeah, so next up that we had was Sami Zayn came out and he was trying to hype the crowd up, talking about that all this conspiracy things that's going on. And some of the fans were buying into it, but then Sami kind of went the usual heel route and said that he was going to commandeer the show, that he was not leaving the ring and that he was going to commandeer the SmackDown Live. I'm like, oh no, this is not what we needed. Well, somebody had a major rebuttal, and he's back.
Corey and Sean, and then you do the what?
Yep, and coming out of that was the Prince. Finn Balor, Frugal David, whatever the hell you want to call him, he's back. WWE main roster, SmackDown Live, and boy, he did not skip a beat. Hit him with a sling blade type finishing maneuver, then put him into the drop zone for the coup de grace, or the coup de cas, like Luigi PS3 would say.
Coup de
grace, yeah. So coup de grace, you see it, Sami Zayn, and the fans go mental. Anthony Florio, there was a rumor going around that it was happening. Derek kind of was like that. It's not just a rumor, that it's yes, it's possible he is coming back. The rumors were true. Derek Ferrero was correct. I was correct. Balor is back on SmackDown Live.
Only fitting, because we all know you're a Balor guy, MF. I mean, you know more about him than I do, dating back to his days in New Japan, especially with the original Bullet Club. You've been riding with this guy ever since, and it's only fitting he's on your show. And first Universal Champion on the show, where the Universal title currently resides. So, all right. Sami Zayn is great. He has been great and will continue to be, because it is readily apparent that he has invested in his character, no matter how ridiculous it is. Now that he has an actual audience to play off of, it is extremely likely that Zayn will only get better. If he has the opportunity to share the ring with someone like Balor, whose path he has not crossed nearly as much as you would expect for two stars who enjoyed similar paths to WWE, it will only further enhance things. As for Balor, one can hope his second run on the main roster is better than his first. He was undervalued, underutilized, and misunderstood by management. After an extraordinary run as NXT champion this past year, he is primed for the run he should have had dating back to 2016. Hopefully, he is allowed to chase the success that eluded him before. The only negative, the negative was too short. But all I can say, MF, hey, Finn Balor against Sami Zayn. There you go, MF. I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, you've been talking about how SmackDown's roster has been depleted. You know, you just got a major upgrade here. I mean, those three huge additions to your women's division, and now with the Prince coming back in, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big one for you, MF. And coming off that extraordinary, what I would call unofficial rehab down in NXT, and he picked that thing up and he ran with it, and hopefully he'll get the run he should have had. So, not much more to say, MF. Fine segment here, and MF, you got him, Finn Balor, your boy. He's on your show. I know that's gonna make you feel very happy, especially with how depleted your roster's been lately.
Yeah, I've been preaching about how depleted the roster's been, and because of all the cuts and everything else. And yeah, we were getting slaughtered left and right. But you know, at the end of the day, something had to give, and boy, did it give. Finn Balor back on SmackDown. Excellent moment. I hope they do it right. I hope they do justice with them. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what they bring to the table. I can't wait to see what happens next. And oh yeah, I was feeling it, man. I'm feeling good about it, and there's really nothing more to add. Like I said, I'm very excited for the body of work and see what happens next. And then from there, we had now this is a women's tag team. Now, they were classifying this as a contendership match. So this was Nox and Shotzi Blackheart and Tia Nox going up against Natalya and Tamina. Now, the premise of the match is that if Knox and Shotzi win the match, that they will receive a future WWE Women's Tag Team title match against Natalya and Tamina. Now, also, you have to note, at ringside was Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega. And the winners of the bout in 3 minutes and 20 seconds, Shotzi and Knox gets the win. They've done it again. A week ago was a big coup for them. This just got even bigger for them. They now are guaranteed a title shot sometime down the line against the champions. Anthony Florio, I mean, first time around was an oh my goodness, that we were calling championship committee. We were thinking championship committee moment. This time around, it is a legit championship committee moment because now they truly will get a shot at the tag team titles down the line. Knox and Shotzi gets the win.
Big win. And a lot came out of this. Not just Shotzi and Knox getting the opportunity, but also getting that in a moment. It is difficult to take much away from Shotzi and Knox's latest win, given the fact that the attention was paid not to them, but Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega at ringside. Yes, WWE attempted to put the final touches on the build of Sunday's women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but in the process, they robbed the young new team the opportunity to bask in the spotlight in their first exposure in front of a live audience. Morgan receiving the overwhelmingly positive reaction that she did is an indicator that she has the audience on her side, something that was an uncertainty over the last year, with her singles push beginning in front of no one and continuing before oversized TV screens. It is nice to see the immediate feedback of the audience confirming her popularity. She is a clear favorite to win Sunday's ladder match. So I would probably say maybe 1.5 to 2 for the effort, but a big moment here. And we don't know. Well, we do know they are the number one contenders. We just don't know when the match is going to happen. Could they add it to the Money in the Bank card for Sunday? Maybe. Or if not, maybe they'll save it for next week. Unique Smackdown.
I would probably have to say, I would save it for next week because of the fact that Natalya and Tamina are both fighting in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Right.
I would not want to do that there. That would not be a match that I would promote or put. However, beautiful women, maybe Miami, maybe in that special tour that they got coming in because they're doing
loud. It's a hip hop festival called Rolling Loud or something like that.
Yeah, so maybe you put that in there, put that title match there.
Either that or if they do it next week, the question is where will it be? Will it be there in Miami or will it be where they are in Cleveland?
No, yeah, that is a good question.
Either one, because it's going to be at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, home of the Cavs, and then wrestling matches taking place at this festival in Miami. So we'll wait and see. But I think it'll be soon enough. So so that's all there is to say here. 1.5 to 2, nice moment for Liv Morgan. I wouldn't call her I wouldn't call her a clear favorite. I would call her a dark horse possibility, like a Zelina Vega, because you never know. That one's very tough to call. So we'll have a prediction in a little while. So need a little more time to think it over. But for right now, the match was 1.5 to 2. Big moment for Shotzi and Knox, new number one contenders for the women's tag team titles, and a nice moment for Liv Morgan there. So could it lead to an even bigger moment? We'll see. So not much more to say. MF 1.5 to 2 for that effort.
Yeah, I'll give it 2. I think it was solid. It was good for what it was worth. It was a little short, but it is what it is. But a great moment a great moment for Shotzi and Knox. Now they get the shot at the tag titles. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. And now we got the battle for the women's title. Bianca Belair versus Carmella. Bianca Belair wins the match in 11 minutes even. Solid fight, very good match. I'll say it, another 3-star battle. The crowd really made the difference in this match. If this was Thunderdome or anything else, it was probably a typical whole hum diva fight. But the crowd is so invested and they're really rallying behind Bianca Belair. But the ending of the match again, the hair coming into play. That whip of the hair got the crowd jumping. I was like, "Oh my god!" So we sold that moment really well on commentary. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, solid match, and more importantly, the champion remains the champion.
What was the time of the fall and your rating?
11 minutes even, and I said about 3 stars.
Yeah. I'm actually going to give it about 3.25, teetering on 3.5, because this certainly exceeded expectations. Bianca Belair has been great this year, absolutely seizing the opportunity and performing up to the level fans and superiors expect out of a champion. There was little question that she would thrive, especially with the energy created by fans. She is a special performer, a charismatic athlete who has the fans on her side, who has had the fans on her side from the moment she set foot in the arena. She is arguably the best babyface performer in WWE and will be one of the faces of the company for a very long time. The wild card was Carmella, who has never been confused with the best wrestler in the women's division. Yet here she was, as she has countless times since her return, shining. She was better here as a challenger to the title she once held than she ever was as champion. So much so that she could easily warrant another run with the title if she continues to show flashes in these championship opportunities. This was good, way better than it probably had any right to be, especially since it was thrown together in the wake of Bayley's sudden injury last week. Kudos to both women for delivering big time. The EST now moves on from Carmella, and I would imagine maybe we'll start, possibly thinking about who her next challenger could be. And I have 2 options. And I think they're gonna start building for SummerSlam, because they're gonna want the EST to defend the title at the SummerSlam in Vegas, and in front of that huge crowd of the Legion 5 weeks from tomorrow. And they're both big options. The first option, the more obvious option, maybe this is where we finally get the long-awaited rematch with the Boss. Maybe we get WrestleMania. Maybe we revisit WrestleMania. That's a very real possibility. The other, if they decide to put her on SmackDown, and I know if this were to happen, MF would lose his damn mind because of the love affair he's had with this one since day one. A certain man, if you know what I mean. Either would be a great option. But do we get the rematch with the Mania rematch with the Boss? Or do they bring the man back and we possibly get the man against the EST? Either way, if it's either one of those two, that's a show stealer. So not much more to say here. 3.25 to 3.5, sleeper fight of the night for me. MF, how do you like those options?
Yeah, I would be very excited if that was the option. And I have heard a rumor going around that I've actually heard a rumor about maybe the man possibly going to Raw and going after the Raw Women's title, possibly going after Rhea Ripley, because everybody's predicting that Rhea will successfully defend the title over Charlotte.
Agreed.
And that maybe we get Becky Lynch versus Rhea at SummerSlam.
Oh, I would love that. That would be awesome.
So
that would be a huge shot in the arm for Raw. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think it could go either way. Yes, you could talk about that possibly happening. I don't know if we would get it or not. I know it would be very close, but it could go either way. I think that's the best way to say it. This could go either way. It could go to this could Becky Lynch could easily go to Raw and go after the Raw Women's title, or yeah, she could go to SmackDown, go after the SmackDown Women's title, and that could happen. I mean, there's a number of scenarios how this plays out, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be very interesting. This was, yeah, definitely a lot better than expected. 3-star. It was better than expected. So then we have Cesaro going 1-on-1 with Otis. Cesaro wins the match in minute and 5 via disqualification. We're not going to get into this. This was kind of more of Otis trying to be a monster. They were just building him as a monster badass heel, and it's working. So I think that was just a one-off. Maybe you give Cesaro one more shot at Otis, but I honestly think that Cesaro will eventually get Otis, knock him out, take him off the ledge, and then you go from there. So main event. Then we had Baron Corbin cutting a promo. We're not going to get into that. It was a little too sappy and whatnot. But there was the main event of the evening. And it was so I was going to say, so this way it was Seth Rollins, Big E, Kevin Owens, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And Seth Rollins wins the match in 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Anthony Floyo, it is yours.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, frozen, of course.
That's okay.
Anyways, I would give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. I mean, Big E eating the pinfall coupled with his de-emphasis over the last month feels like a misdirect heading into Money in the Bank. The brief backstage confrontation with Paul Heyman was very much foreshadowing something that the company does from time to time and suggests Big E may be likely to win the Money in the Bank ladder match on Sunday night. So fans of his should not be worried about his prospects moving forward. Seth Rollins is one of WWE's biggest stars and is prepping for a match with Edge at SummerSlam. Spotlighting him here felt like the right move, even if Kevin Owens was by far the most popular star in the match. Hopefully, the reaction KO received is proof positive of the connection he has with fans and will only serve to strengthen confidence management. Only the strength and confidence management has in him to be a top star. The Corbin stuff prior to the match was like MF said, stappy, but some actually thought it was great and only strengthens the sentiment that this character may end with the former King being more over than ever before. And that's quite the statement, considering the talent he has worked with over the last 3 years. This was an excellent capper to the freshest episode of WWE television in a long damn time. Thanks in large part to the return of fans to the arena. They were red hot, greeted everyone like major stars, and will certainly help enhance the product as WWE presents one of its top pay-per-views this Sunday night in Fort Worth with Money in the Bank. Welcome back, fans. Welcome back. We missed you. First time, the first Smackdown in front of real fans in a real arena since March the 6th of 2020 when they were in Buffalo at the Keystone Arena. But almost 500 days, just north of 500 days, 498 days exactly. So that's all there is to say on that. So a big moment here. So too short for my liking, but if they could put a 3-star match together in over 7.5 minutes, especially that spot near the end when Kevin Owens dove off the ladder and put King Nakamura through the table, which
God,
which had Pat McAfee losing his damn mind, and MF doing channeling, of course, Joey Styles. Oh my God, and then some. So yeah, special moment indeed. So solid 3 stars for the effort, and Rollins getting the win suggests that he's probably not going to win the Money in the Bank because I think he's going to. It's obvious he's going to be fighting Edge at SummerSlam based on what we've seen with the interactions and well, we'll have to wait and see. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But for right now, solid 3 stars for the effort. And MF, I heard you. I heard what you just said there. Maybe not like Joey Styles, but I know even though the match was a little short for my liking, I felt it was a little pressed for time. The other word I like to use, but which was a damn shame because those four could have really put on a hell of a even bigger banger if they weren't pressed for time. But that KO spot definitely stole the damn show.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Epic way to close the show. No doubt about it. 3 stars for the rating. All in all, great night for SmackDown Live. I'm gonna say it, solid 8. There was only one bad thing the whole night. The Corbin thing, all right, fine, whatever. But Cesaro and Owens was the worst fight of the evening, but everything else was solid to good to great. The Fatal 4-Way was good. The Knox and Shotzi versus the Women's Tag Champions was good because it set it up for the Money in the Bank. And the 6-man was, oh my God, what a way. Because of the crowd and everything that started at the beginning of the night, this ended up being the best thing for the evening. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, 8 out of 10 for me. Welcome home, WWE Universe. We've missed you, and you can see it. You can see how the difference between that and this. It's so night and day how this played out. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had been, chomping at the bits, waiting for the day that for this day, and the Thunderdome felt like forever, but boy howdy, I mean, that's really all there is to say there. I'm more along the lines of 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Like you said, Cesaro and Otis, that was an NA. That fight got thrown out after like a minute and change, and that could have been a nice little horse fight if they had decided to push that, but they didn't. But was what it was. But the show kind of had almost like an NXT vibe, as they didn't try to do anything huge and just covered what they needed to cover. That's a good formula for something like this, as I would much rather have them put on a nice solid show than shoot for the moon and blow up on launch. Nothing on here was terribly bad. There were enough things to keep us interested, and Finn Balor was a cool moment, throwing the fans losing their minds, and this was a good Friday night. The women's match actually stole the show, ended up being the fight of the night, if you can believe that. And 6-man was very good. The 4-way could have been was very good, even though it could have been better. Got pressed for time. And Balor coming back, big surprise, nice little surprise there, and of course the fans and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, very special night to say the very least. And the fans took home a memory from before the show even began, because they got to rub elbows with the Authority. They got to rub elbows with Triple H and Stephanie. I mean, that would have made my night alone if it was me. That alone would have made my night. But to put together the show on top of that, you fans in Houston, remember this night for as long as you live, because you got the first shot. And MF, remember this night because it was SmackDown that got the first shot. So Sunday's the first pay-per-view, and then Monday, my guys and gals on Team Red, we get our shot in Dallas, and I'm chomping at the bits for that one. So 7.5 to 8 from me. So MF, not without any further ado, let's get into our preview for that said pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, one of the biggest events of the calendar year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We got ourselves a lot of. Here we go. So the Money in the Bank, we're gonna start it out. Let's start it off with the pre-show. Well, we don't really cover pre-show matches, but we're gonna start it out with the Raw Tag Team titles, as it's gonna be AJ Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders. I'm going to go AJ and Omos. I just don't see the Viking Raiders winning the title here. I just feel like the champions are going to remain the champions. There's really no need to do a title change just yet. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, the Viking Raiders feel largely like a stay busy opponent for the tag champ, the challenger of the month, if you will. Their return was good to see, and WWE always needs more established and talented tag teams in the mix. Still, AJ Styles and Omos are going to lose the titles in a bigger program than this, possibly to a team like RK Bro, um, Riddle, and Randy Orton. Sunday will not be the night their reign ends. So I agree with you. Winners and still the Raw Tag Team Champions, the phenomenal AJ Styles and Omos, and that next match.
Raw Women's title on the line. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going with Rhea Ripley here. Even though there is that part of me that worries about Charlotte getting the title here and the backlash that the company would get from that. Ripley's run as the women's champion has been somewhat of a little bit of a dud, not a whole lot, which isn't a knock on an extremely talented woman, but rather the reality that she wasn't quite yet ready for the role. But despite pushback from fans over how strongly Charlotte has been booked for the past several years, she's entirely capable of being that top player in the division, and that could add up to Charlotte being a good pick to unseat a champion. WWE women's booking often lacks logic. It's a very tough one to call. I mean, if Charlotte were to steal it, I would not at all be surprised. But I just have to go with Rhea right now. I mean, I kind of want to see Rhea run with that thing a little bit longer. I'm not quite ready for another Charlotte run yet. So, but I got a bad feeling that some days down the road it will happen again. But for right now, I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley to retain the Raw Women's Championship. So, MF, I'm sure you're in agreement with that.
Yeah, I'll go with Rhea Ripley as well. I think Rhea should win it, and we shall move on along. All right, so next up we're gonna do the two title matches, and then we'll do the Money in the Banks at the end. So first off, Universal title match: Edge versus Roman Reigns. I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns. I know they kind of foreshadowed it tonight with Edge getting the upper hand on Roman. I just feel like it's a booking 101 moment here. Winner of the bout and still Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Anthony?
Agreed. It's hard to ignore that WWE already seems to be setting up Edge versus Seth Rollins for SummerSlam, not to mention the rumors of Roman's next title challenger, a certain champ, if you know what I mean. While Edge winning the championship would make for a good story, it would also seem to derail the bigger story being told involving Reigns and the Usos, a story that WWE has prioritized above all other things for those involved. Expect a great match, but a match that sees Roman retain the title. So, winner and still Universal Champion, your tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. MF, let's get to the Raw main event.
Yeah, and this will be for the WWE title, as it is Bobby Lashley, the almighty WWE champion Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. Florio, you lead off.
Only fitting because I'm the Raw guy here. I forgot to mention one other thing when it comes to Roman and Edge. Don't be surprised if they end up being the main event of that show. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah.
Because considering Roman's been the main event almost every pay-per-view except the last one because he wasn't on it. That's the only reason. And that's why we got to main event it last time out, Hell in a Cell. But anyways, there's a line of thinking where a shock Kingston win would get a huge reaction for the first pay-per-view back in front of a full capacity crowd. That said, Bobby Lashley is very unlikely to drop the title here. WWE has just started to tell the story of Lashley's aura of dominance beginning to crack, and he hasn't completely descended to where it makes sense to move the title yet. Kingston will give a spirited effort before ultimately coming up short. So, winner and still the WWE champion, the almighty WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. MF, agreement once again?
Yeah, agreed. I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley as well. I just think that he's going to win it all. So that leaves us with the two Money in the Bank ladder match remaining. And we're going to start with the women. The women, as it'll be Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Ash, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Tamina and Natalia. Okay, this is without a doubt the most unpredictable Money in the Bank. This is always difficult to predict. There's never really a clear cut favorite, especially in the women's. It is wide open. Two that I think that could win it is Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss. I think either one would be a no big surprise if they win. Um, the third person that I'm going to throw out there, because of everything that she's done lately, is Nikki Ash. She is my wild card in this match. So if you want me to put a top three, I would say Alexa, Liv, and Nikki are my three that I would say that if they come out with the Money in the Bank, I would be very happy. If anybody else does, it's a shocker. If Asuka wins it again, it'd be a stunner. If Naomi wins it, oh my God.
Naomi deserves better.
What a story if Naomi wins it all. I just don't see Natalia, Tamina, or Zelina winning it. I just don't. I think Liv, if you're Liv Morgan, you deserve this moment. You've worked your butt off for the last few months. Absolutely. And especially the way that they've been working the storyline, there's two ways this can go. We could see Liv have to chase even more, probably get screwed over, and that could open the door for her to possibly someday become the SmackDown Women's Champion. Because I truly believe by sometime next year, she's going to be the champion. Something tells me she's going to get the belt next year. She's about a year away. But could they do Alexa Bliss? Yeah, they could. And Nikki Ash definitely has a great shot of winning it all. So those would be my three. Anthony, I know you said this is the toughest one to call. Can you make a little headway, or are you in the same boat like I am, where I might have at least a top three, but no clear favorite?
In a sense, I mean, Natty and Tamina are the women's tag team champions. They're only there for veteran purposes. That's the reason why they're in the match, because you can't have a match without a reliable veteran. In this case, you have two reliable veterans in Natty and Tamina. So I don't think they're going to win that. Liv and Zelina, they're the two dark horses from SmackDown. Liv, especially after what happened tonight. But I got a bad feeling Booking 101's going to rear its ugly head, and I don't think Liv's going to win. Naomi, while she deserves better, I don't think they're going to put it on her. I mean, Asuka won it last year. I don't think they're going to give it to Asuka. I'm just about there with you, MF. I mean, Liv's right there. Nikki Ash is right there. But I got to go with Alexa. I mean, it's easy to see WWE liking the visual of Alexa Bliss skipping to the ring, carrying the briefcase, even if her storyline and character have become a complete disaster. Liv Morgan has been something of a quote-unquote being held down, going to prove myself story, which would make the resulting conflict with WWE official Sonya Deville interesting. Outside of those two participants, only Nikki Cross has the momentum to be a possible winner. There's not a lot of good that comes from a Bliss win, but it does seem likely. So my gut's telling me to go with Alexa to win this. But the thing is, she's won it before. I kind of want to see somebody new get it. So even though my gut's telling me to go with Alexa, I'm actually going to listen to my heart on this one. I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to say Nikki Ash is going to steal this thing. But if Alexa wins it, I would not at all be surprised. If Liv wins, I would not at all be surprised. But I'm going to take a big chance here, and I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to go with Nikki Ash to win based on her momentum as of late. So give me Nikki Ash to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So with all that being said, MF, let's get to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match to close out this preview.
All right, and it's going to be Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. Anthony, your pick.
Well, we can go through the scenarios / clues here to narrow down our range of potential winners. Ricochet, King Nakamura, and John Morrison are not realistic winners. Rollins seems tied to a SummerSlam program with Edge rather than a spot as the Money in the Bank winner. He's already won it before. That leaves Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, and Kevin Owens. Of that group, Kevin Owens feels the least likely option. A Drew McIntyre win would be a disappointment because he needs to be out of the title picture for a considerable amount of time to freshen up. Yet it remains a very strong possibility that he takes home the briefcase, even though I had gone on the record many a time saying that I have a feeling he might win it. Riddle's program and Randy Orton should keep him busy enough without needing the briefcase, though a program of Orton mentoring Riddle on the right way to handle being Mr. Money in the Bank would be fun. That leaves Big E as the most interesting and probable winner. There have been some rumors of Big E reuniting with the New Day on Raw. And what better way to do it than possibly cashing in on Bobby Lashley? So I know that's wishful thinking and fantasy booking and all that good stuff. But based on the rumors I've heard, especially with the draft coming up sometime down the line, I'm going to take another big chance here. I mean, once again, my gut is telling me to go with Drew McIntyre. But at the same time, and especially after what we saw tonight in that brief little confrontation with Heyman, I think Big E has a realistic chance of winning. And I don't know if they're gonna if they want to give both shows the briefcases. I mean, it would be awesome if Raw were to win both briefcases, and I know MF would feel the same way if SmackDown were to win both briefcases. But I think it's going to be a split. I think Raw's going to win the women's. I think SmackDown's going to win the men's. So I'm going to go with Big E from SmackDown to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So if any of those other guys win, I would not at all be surprised. So, but expect a banger of a match though. So MF, what do you think of that little scenario?
Yeah, you know what? Going into it, I was thinking Drew all the way. I thought for ever since Drew got into Money in the Bank, I'm like, Drew's gonna win it. Drew's gonna win it. Drew's gonna win it. Drew's gonna win it. Drew's gonna win it.
Don't forget Jinder Mahal though.
Yeah, but until tonight, I'm with you. Big E's gonna win Money in the Bank. I'm actually switching. Going into it, I was thinking it was gonna be McIntyre the whole way through, but now I can realistically see Big E win Money in the Bank and go after the Universal title and Roman Reigns. The problem is the draft has now been pushed back until October. So it is not happening anytime soon. So I could see it play that way, and I would be ecstatic. So yes, winner of the Money in the Bank, Big E, I'm going to call it. So we're done. We're out of here. Sunday night, right after Money in the Bank is over, come back here and we'll recap it all. With Anthony Floyo, hopefully with Michael Bullock. I will be here as well. And we're going to give you our thoughts on everything and kind of give us a little setup for, yes, the next big event, Monday Night Raw, Dallas, Texas, as we will be literally on the road to the hottest night of the summer, SummerSlam and Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. So we begin the road. So with that said, thank you, everybody. As always, like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. And for all of us here, I am Gold MF for Anthony Floyo, saying so long, everybody, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Goodbye.